Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show, as sharing the show increases the diversity of the panel by increasing the live audience, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Arwin and Sleeping Warrior. How are you both doing?
All is good.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Birds are singing. What a beautiful day.
Yes, it is. It's been chemtrail free for 3 days in a row here.
Yeah.
Never thought to see that day again.
Yeah, I've had a few blue skies. I did wake up to Anthony Riley ringing in my ears about Sly Sparkane being a disingenuous liar and ignoring the point. So maybe we can start there, Anthony, if you're about.
Yeah, man. Sly Sparkane, you are the most disingenuous piece of shit I have ever come across on Flat Earth. If I make a video, Sly, and I'm making a specific point in the video, the whole point of a back and forth is that you address the points that I make, even if you dismiss it with ridicule, right? You have to address the point I'm making. You can't make a straw man argument and then claim that I've been debunked on the back of a straw man. Do you understand that? Are we good? So if I say apples are green, that's my point. You can't argue about the stalk being brown. Who cares? This isn't going to work very well, Nathan, without sound. Can I drop and come back in on Skype?
Yeah, no worries. I'll call you.
Okay.
All right. You're still in here, then.
Yeah, no, still in here. We can hear his phone ringing. There we go.
I was trying to find
right.
the
So we've got.
window. I have too many tabs open at the minute.
No worries. If you share your screen and sounds, we'll get your audio, and then if you jump back in.
Yes. So if let me just dig the file out. Let's get rid of that. Right, so this will work. So it's a little bit smaller. Right, do we see?
No, you will in a moment.
You got a black screen?
No, I've got to have you up before I can screen share you. Okay, you're up.
Right, so Sly did a 40-minute video last night, which is condensed into essentially 2 minutes. Now, I don't want anyone to go to his channel and watch his video because I don't want him to think that he's got a popularity surge as a result of this. All I want people to do is realise the point of what he's saying and laugh preposterously at this retard because, and then you can insert your own reasons. But my point was that we see floaty land from 1 foot on the beach. Why would that possibly be? And rather than address the point that I made, he's pulled out a straw man. Now, this is the straw man argument that he presents, right? A straw man argument is an argument that didn't previously exist and isn't being argued. And for some reason, he decides to introduce this as the straw man. No, this is a foul, Sly. But anyway, let's go through it. It's only 2 minutes.
I made these captures, and I strung them together. Now, check this out. Okay. Now, the water line is right here, this top red one here. Now, there's a reason why I have this other red one here. The water line is right here. They kind of skimmed along the top of the water line. I don't know why you would do that.
Well, let me answer that. The reason why I would do that is because once you see the horizon, I'm not interested in the foreground. There's no boats on it. I don't need to see anything else. All I need to see is the water line. You know, makes common sense.
But nevertheless, they did that. And the water line in that footage, in this newest footage, is like right here. Just cuts like right along the bottom. As he goes more off to the right in the footage, which is kind of irrelevant in this.
Pardon? As he goes off to the right, it's kind of irrelevant. Let's just hear that again.
In the footage, which is kind of irrelevant in this. Kind of irrelevant in this.
No, Sly, that was the point of the video. The footage to the right is the relevancy, right? I'm not making any claims to do with this land because we can all establish that we've got North Barul, which you've correctly pointed out. You've got this little bit, and then I noticed that you've cut off the bit that's down here. Now, if you'd have put that bit in there, you wouldn't be able to make the argument that you're making, right? Because it's an exact match for the composite. Now, that tells you that the horizon that's being put back in here, which you're claiming is the water rising up, if you had the nose cone put back in, you would see that it's not the horizon that's being risen up. It's actually the land that's being squashed. Why? Because we live on a flat plane. Convergence is a thing. As you get closer to the horizon, things get squashed. We good? Do we understand this? I'll show you this in relation to the composite in a sec.
As he goes up more off to the right, the horizon comes a little bit higher. He doesn't have it on any kind of stabilizer. He's actually got it, on the sand. So, I'm not faulting him for that. But nevertheless, now, y'all ready for this? Y'all gonna love this. Okay, everybody hold your breath because this is so fucking funny.
We're holding.
Okay. Slowly blending in, and then completely blending in. Do you see a problem here? Does anybody see the problem here? Okay. Attention, citizens of England. There is a a little bit more than 100-meter stationary tsunami between your country and the Isle of Man. And Riley, you need to go sell this footage, man, because you seem to be the only one who captured it. Okay. Now.
They're never going to get over the slant, are they?
It's a little bit obvious. Okay. I scaled them together. Okay. You can look at it like this. Okay. I scaled them together. Does anybody see the issue?
Can you see the issue, Arwin?
Well, apparently he can't get over the slant again. Like
right,
always.
so he's appealing. He's appealing because he wants us to see the issue, right? And to be fair, if he didn't show the nose cone that was just off to the right, that would be a really credible ball earth argument. I'll be honest, that would be credible, and that's a fair interpretation, right? But he hasn't been fair with the evidence. He hasn't. I mean, first off, it's a straw man argument. That's not what I asked people to look at. So what I'll do now is, and the best way to describe this is rather than doing it. My channel. Hang on, bear with me. Videos. Right, so there's the original video.
By the way,
which
Riley,
I will have
sorry,
there.
but is this a new video or
No, same one
is
that
this
we presented today.
your amazing mirage footage?
Sure. So let's remember where this was. Hang on, it's
your great reveal.
Top line, isn't it? So top line is, where's it gone? Is it here? There we go. Right, so, I mean, this isn't that difficult, Sly. I don't see why you're struggling with this, but we have North Barul. He has this composite. The land comes down, and then look what happens. It tapers off, right? It also tapers off here. There's a line that tapers off here, and I'm going to suggest that that's what we're actually seeing, the line that's here. This is a foreground picture of whatever. I don't think we're actually seeing this one. Partly because the distance between here and the land on the right appears, in my opinion, to be a little bit too long, and there is another land that's here, which does seem to match the picture perfectly. But had Sly have shown this in his thing, he wouldn't be able to make the argument that when the water's risen up... could you deal with divert, please? Yeah. He wouldn't be able to make the arguments because he omitted to include this line that's here, either that line that's there or that line that's there. So, but I don't really need to prove that point because this next point proves it perfectly. Whether it's this bit here or whether it's this bit. No. Ouch. Sorry, I'm just getting a phone call in the background.
We're not a taxi company.
So basically, we've got this patch of land, this patch of water that goes across here, and as we get to the other side of the water, if there appears to be the appearance of and the emergence of water of land that pops out from behind, that creates the problem, right? And that was the video the point in the video that I made. So Sly, answer this point: why does land appear when we expect it to appear? And I mean, we can dismiss the idea that the horizon's risen up, because if it was risen up the way that you'd suggested it, this nose cone part here or this part here, whichever one it is, couldn't possibly exist, because you claim that it would be obscured by the curvature of the Earth in your thing. So if we go back to the video there, now we can see. Let's go to that full screen. And he made a point of saying that I really quickly whipped off the North Barul point. Yeah, it was just because I wanted to identify the mountain, make sure I was in the correct point. But there's the point where the land drops off, right? Now, if it really was the water level that's risen up and the land that had dropped behind it, this wouldn't exist. But Sly's not put that in his video to laugh at me at, which is totally dishonest, because it shits all over his claim. This is why Sly knows it's not a ball, right? He knows this. So I've got to Barul, and I've just established that that's the mountain. Drop down, and I know what I'm looking at now. Now, because this land exists in this capacity here, because this drop-off bit exists, that means Sly's claim has to be wrong. Because if it was the curvature of the Earth, that would be obscured and it wouldn't exist. But it does exist. Now, Sly, pay attention. This is just for you, Sly, because you don't seem to understand what assertions are. You don't seem to get it. I'm making the assertion that land will appear on the right-hand side. And if land appears on the right-hand side where we're expecting it, it's the hills at Bride. But it should be behind the curvature of the Earth. Right? So let's play the clip. Sly, pay attention. We go across the gap where Ramsey sits. Ramsey sits below it. And then... oh, now we see some land. And watch what happens. I'll let the video go again, but I spot it on the camera. And I've now zoomed it. I'm going to zoom in on it now because I realise there's land there. Yeah, Sly, there's the land. These are the hills at Bride, Sly. Why can we see them? Now, Sly argues that you can't see these. And I'm saying you're ignoring them, Sly. You're turning a Nelson's eye because you don't want to address these because they should be 700 feet behind the curve, shouldn't they? They're only 200 feet, maybe 300 feet. 200, call it 250 on average. All the way along here. And that land should not be seen because it should be behind the curve of the Earth. So, Sly, you've got two choices.
Anthony, can I play devil's advocate or Isa for a moment?
Sure.
And that is with the very flat line thing. How are you sure that is actually a hills and not just another mirage layer of the ocean? Because it looks very similar to...
Because
the ocean.
I'll tell you how,
beneath it.
Arwen, because we spent about 30 or 40 episodes analysing that land. And once you know what it looks like, you can't really just ignore it.
In the composite, which we gained from the earlier video in December, we know that the land tapers off to a point, and we know that it's either on screen is either that point that's there or it's that point that's there. Who cares which? Doesn't matter. But the fact that that's there proves that Slides can't be right with the horizon and the water being the bulge, right?
No,
but then
sorry, that's not what I meant. I meant with the
we know
the
that
earlier
there is
footage.
no
This
other
is the
land.
older Isle of Man composite, right?
Yeah, from the highest
Yeah, I
elevation.
recognized it. I'm talking about the newer footage.
Yeah.
With the
Well,
strange
you're asking how do we know that
layers.
this is land? Well, like I say, if we go from this point where the land drops off, and we know that we go across a little bit, if something magically appears out the ground, and we know that it's the hills at Bride and it's the land that goes with that, if it's in the right place at the right time and it's in the right proportion, then it's the land that we're looking at in the composite right now, because it can't be anything else. We had the argument whether it was Ireland, whether it was Scotland, whether it was Isle of Man, and my position was
with
always
this footage,
still
that is
small.
obvious. That is it's very distinct here. So, not questioning that. I'm rather questioning it with the other footage.
Yeah, well, let's do it again then. There we go.
I mean, I
So
know
you
you're playing
basically-
devil's advocate, Arwen, but you of all people know what happens when you get inches off the ground. All he will see is anything above his, let's call it 10, 12
Now.
inches position. So anything in the distance
Oh,
across the flat
right,
plane above
okay.
that is going to be seen.
So Sly literally has to turn a blind eye to this because he doesn't want to address it, or just dismiss that it's land and call it
Go on
horizon.
for a very long stretch.
He's zoomed in more, Arwin, so he's at a considerable more zoom length. So once he spots it, he pans, goes left, figures out where he is, gets back to it, and then zooms right in.
Now.
So hence it looks like it's going on longer than it is
Well,
in
watch,
the composite.
you'll see it stop there then. Now we're in the gap.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah, so now we go back to the land where it peels off, and now I'll go back over again to the right to make sure that it wasn't a fluke or an anomaly, because they like to use that word as well. And if the land appears again in front of us, then hey, what's the explanation for it when we have the composite to compare it to? What do you know? It's the hills at Bride. Unless there's some other explanation for it, Sly. So, is the land in the picture or not, Sly? And the answer, of course, is yes. Is it the hills at Bride? Well, we know from previous hangouts that it is the hills at Bride. And I said, if I went back to the beach and got it from the beach, basically, what would the position be? Paul Voigt claims that he would simply add a bit more maths on it because we live on a ball. So that's what you're going to have to do, Sly, unless you disagree with Paul Voigt. So what's the explanation? Now, there was an argument over for some reason he thinks that this is like a meter above the water. Now, he's got this perception because I'm lay on the what you call it, the wet sand or the drying sand. But that's what the camera's based on. So, I mean, I don't think there's any argument there. He accepts that that's on the sand. But when I stand up to 6 feet, that water is flat. That sand, it's flat. It's level. There isn't a meter in that. You've got inches. You're not having more than a foot, Sly. You are literally having 1 foot, and that's maximum. If you actually put the camera on a table and measure to the center of the lens, it's 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch. So you can have a foot maximum. You aren't having a meter. You're not having 3.3 feet.
I don't even think it's that.
I've
stood there. I've stood in that exact location. And the thing that was immediately obvious was just how little relief there is on that expanse. So once you get beyond the pebbly bit at St. Bees onto these sandy flats, you look back and go, wow, it's incredibly flat. And you can see there's water pooling right in front of Anthony. And after he did this, he told me what he'd done and how he'd done it. And essentially, he's just trying to keep out of the water. You know, he's got back far enough away from the water so he's not soaking wet when he lies down. But ultimately speaking, there's probably an inch of relief between him and that water, tops. Yeah. I mean, I would say that you are, if that, 6 inches off the ground, the camera, including the central point of the lens, and it's 2 inches, that tripod, once you've got it smushed into the sand. So, if you're 6 inches off the ground, I think you're being, well, maybe that's conservative, but I don't think so.
Well, I measured it on a little tape measure, which is downstairs at the minute, but it's 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch from the ground. When sat there, it's literally 1 inch off so basically, to try and argue that there's a meter here is distraction. You're not having it, it's a foot, and that's being generous. It's realistically inches. But I'll give you a foot, but you're not having a meter. Same for you, flat earth math. You're not having a meter, it isn't a meter. It's 1 foot, and that's it. And this is what you guys asked me to do.
I tried to get Ranty on because I wanted him. I know he's got pictures of this. My battery had run out on my phone when I was standing in this location, so I didn't manage to get any pictures. I'd just taken too much and videoed too much when we were measuring the hill and ran the battery flat. But nonetheless, I know Ranty's got this looking back at St. Bees, and it's much more obvious looking back the other way, just how flat it is. Big shout out to Joey Slive. Shout out my dog, Peanuts. Yeah, Peanuts. Shout out to Joey Slive's dog, Peanuts. Thanks for all the super chats. But yeah, this is flat as a pancake. Like I say, I'd give you 1 inch, maybe. You know what I mean? Yeah. But when it goes down, it disappears virtually immediately. Same with it coming in. There's so little relief on it.
The other thing is that these two people in the background are children. They're not adults. And somebody claims that, and Sly argued that these people were that far away. That no, these are children. These aren't adults. They're about 10, maybe 12, very small adults, right? They're not adults, they're children. So either way, these people are still basically at the same height that I'm at. Yeah, I'll give you a couple of inches. You can have a foot, but you're not having a meter. I can't get any closer without digging a hole, and I'm not prepared. There's no point in me doing that. Really, this is what you asked me to do. You asked me to go back and get it. I
think that's too high. I mean, you're on a 2 inch tripod with 1 inch length. That's 3, and I'm going to say you've got an inch of relief. You've got 4 inches between you and that ocean. 4 inches.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a foot. You
They
can't
want a
get a
meter.
foot out of that. I know. I've stood there.
Yeah, it's nonsense. This is what happens with these ballers. I mean, look, any normal person will clearly realize that that's, as low as I can get, right? I needed to stabilize it, and that's how I used it. But ultimately, it's like, how can this be argued to be a meter? It's literally preposterous to argue that. You have no evidence to support it other than hyperbole and conjecture, and I'm saying it's not true. You can argue it, but you're not having it. You're having 1 foot, and that's it. And then I'm being generous.
I'm going to say 6 inches. You know, I don't know
The
why you
meter's
said
out
a
the
foot.
window.
It's
It's
6
completely out
inches.
the
It's
window.
not a foot. It's 6 inches. You're literally single digits off the ground here. Between you and that ocean, there's 6 inches of drop, and that's only because you're on a 2-inch bit of sand with an inch up to the lens. You know, I still think 6 inches is too much. Probably 4 inches between you and that sea.
So let's just recap quickly for Sly, who's Sly the denier of evidence. There's the land in the north. No one's interested in that. Don't make a straw man. We go across the gap, and then we're expecting to see land that appears in the right-hand side. And sure enough, what do you know? There appears to be land. So when I spot it, I zoom in, and I'm happy that that's the hills at Bride. It turns up when I expect it to. It looks the way I'd expect it to. And the idea that this is the horizon that's rising up is simply wrong. But Sly knows this. Sly's still arguing that it's a ball. He's going to argue this no matter what. But how dishonest is it? He's just literally, he'll not see this. He'll just ignore it. He'll say that it's not there. Oh, it's just a mirage. Yeah, what you see here is a mirage, really. Well, remember that you were the one that asked me to go back and do this. And now I've gone back and done it. You just don't accept it? I don't think so, Sly. Stop being a dick. Because it is land. It is the hills at Bride. And it should be 700 feet behind the curve. Let me guess, you're going to have to add a bit more maths to it to make it come back, right? But isn't it funny that the maths that you need to make it bring it back still is consistent with it looking flat, right? And this is going to happen time and time again. I'll be going tomorrow. I'm going up there for a couple of more days, just to see, because the weather's turning tomorrow. The weather's apparently it's going to make an upturn in the weather for the next 4 or 5 days. We're going to get 25 degrees. Now, obviously, he took issue with the sun not being in the image. I was like, well, why would I do this while the sun is like immediately overhead or close to it? Because ultimately, we know by Skunk Bay that when the sun is out, it causes all sorts of weird stuff, optical effect, optical phenomena. And the minute the sun goes, it all settles down and becomes a stable equilibrium. So he argues that I should notice that there's no sun here. Well, also, it was because the weather was pretty bad all week for the time I was there. And this was a break in the weather, and it was the best I could get in the weather. So it's not the fact that, the sun's gone behind the sun or whatever. It's more a case of this was the best of the weather, and this is not even good. So guess what's going to happen when I do get good weather? Yeah, it's going to be a problem, isn't it?
It is kind of logical, because if the sun is out, then the sunlight will directly heat the sea surface, and that will cause heat exchange. So,
Right, do you want to jump back in on the Hangout, Anthony? Getting told the link doesn't work.
No.
Sort that out if you can cover for me for a minute, Alwyn.
all right.
Definitely there.
Well, I don't have a lot of things to report, really, especially flat Earth related. Yeah, saw some videos here and there, really crazy videos, and really funny noobs thinking that they can very easily debunk flat Earth with like super early on arguments, that kind of stuff. It's really funny how people tumble into it. Other than that, I've had some weird medical issues with my jaw basically realigning itself. So I guess that as my picture changed into a tree, that I did something similar. I transmuted. My jaw no longer fits. It's really weird.
Interesting.
Yeah. yeah, I love to put it a little extra awkward. But now I had a, how do you say, inflammation somewhere like in my upper jaw on the left side. This was extremely painful. But I've had that type of thing before. but not as bad as this. But after it settled, basically, yeah, my jaw just realigned itself, and it's really weird because now when I put my jaws on each other, just doesn't feel the same. It's really, really weird. So I have to get used to that. But it does seem to have improved a lot.
That's good to know, Arwin.
I might be a little bit more symmetrical in my face now. So
you know, you did the presentation at the opening of the conference, Anthony. That video's had over 2,500 views.
Which one's that?
The one I edited down your opening at the conference. There's loads of views. Like, considering I've done, I don't know, half a dozen or maybe even a dozen edited videos that are about 10 minutes long, with various events, meetings, visits to various different places, and they never get more than 400 or 500 views, and if they're up for a year, they might get 600. But that one, within 4 days, has had 2,500 views, and for a little edited video that I put together, I was amazed at just how many it had. I was like, wow, well, that's a lot of views. You know, double what these debates get almost.
What you should do is change it to Anthony Riley Exposed, so that when they all look up badness, they see a good video.
Well, no, I think it's because it might be because it's titled conference opening. I forget what the title is, but it's got something about the conference in the title, so I can only assume that's because people are looking for that particular thing that they found you. But it's nice to know that a presentation showing flat Earth is getting more views. I'm just pleased with that. But moreover, you know, that didn't contain the footage that we're now talking about. So the footage that's 6 inches off the beach I removed it from that footage because the Rumpus hadn't come up with a prediction as he told us he would. So it was a bit of an awkward one. I had to go back, you know, and remove the chunk of footage that was on the projector so that we didn't, you know, give the game away in terms of what was on the footage and what time of day. So he didn't have exactly what he needed to make a prediction. So it got removed. And then got put in the aftermath with a still of you know, that little mound of sand that you scooped up to get you 6 inches off the water. But
which has been affectionately referred
Rumpus.
to as a pile of dog shit.
Is that really Rumpus, or is it a fake Rumpus? I think it might be a
That's
fake
me.
Rumpus. Oh, rampaging Rumpus now, is it?
Uh-huh.
So you wriggled out your hole, have you, Rumpus?
Wriggled out of what hole?
The whole of the embarrassment that you were in the other day.
What embarrassment?
Failing
have
to
you
make a
got your
prediction.
model to work yet? Can you make a prediction?
I
Retroactively?
I never agreed to make a prediction about the temperature conditions all the time. And Anthony's lying about that, I'm afraid.
He just didn't
simply
make a
said he
prediction.
wanted
It doesn't
me
matter
to,
whether
but
or
I
not you
never
said you
agreed
did
to
or
any
didn't. You
such
didn't.
thing.
Well,
You
we
didn't.
actually read something to the contrary.
No,
So
you didn't. What you read is that he said, "I hope you'll. Well, I'll see you on Saturday."
I remember it
Well,
was on
go
the
and read it,
screen.
and you
It
will
was
see.
very, very
You will see
clear.
that I did not agree to anything. What I have come here to do is to gloat about the fact that 2 predictions that I did make on Saturday
We're completely
were one, that there was no inferior mirage, and 2, that the Isle of Man is hugely compressed.
So
So
do you understand can you tell everybody what an inferior mirage is?
An inferior mirage is something that appears below the object that is not being miraged.
Right.
And
So-
those things, those bands which you think are inferior mirages are not. And if you go and look at the video, you will see they're animated. But because you did such an appalling job of the camera work, you didn't stop anywhere. In fact, you did briefly, just so that you could see they were animated and nothing to do with refraction. Your camera work was absolutely appalling. You didn't even take a picture. You didn't, and you got your observer height completely wrong, as I knew you would, and that was one of the reasons I wasn't going to make a prediction. I'm giving you an observed height of about 2.5 to 3 meters.
What?
And
What a
Shit.
load
at
of
the
nonsense.
video.
You're giving him,
Oh,
Rumpus, have you ever been to that
Look
beach?
at the video he's just shown. Those
Have
children,
you ever been there?
Sorry, dude.
The children.
Have
the
you ever
heads of
been
the-
there, Rumpus,
the
to that beach?
No, I haven't. The heads of the children.
So why are you giving him
below-
anything? Why are you now
below-
arbitrarily
Are you
assigning
watching
a...
his geometry?
Why are you
Nathan,
now
listen,
arbitrarily
listen.
assigning
You're
a
not going to
value
be
of
lying
height?
in plain
Listen,
sight right here.
listen.
Campus.
Yeah,
Listen,
you
those
screw,
children-
Get away
shows
with
the
it.
earth
Listen,
being
I'll
flat.
stop interrupting and try listening. Those heads of those children you saw are below the horizon, which means you cannot be just a foot above. And it's obvious from the slope we've gone. I've got pictures here.
You see the
of
children
slope
after
of
he
that
stands
beach.
up.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
We see the
Um,
children after he's moved his position.
Yes, and there's a slope there. I mean,
Right, so he's
let
moved
me
the
show you a
camera
screen grab.
from his observer height when we see the children, so they're irrelevant to the actual observation itself.
But they are.
Is this another
they are
straw
below
man?
the
So not
horizon.
only do you need to
you
arbitrarily
can see
increase his height to 2.5 meters, having not been there, having not measured a sodding thing, you also need to straw man the hell out of him. I love it. What
Well,
a
you're an
pathetic,
idiot. If you think
pathetic
you
attempt.
don't think
No
about-
predictions from your
Not
model, and now you're straw manning the living daylights out of him, misrepresenting his argument. I mean, this is sad. I mean, when you're out, man. Just try to accept that.
You're an idiot if you can't see that from the picture. So I knew he'd get that wrong. I knew he'd get that wrong.
I'm literally flabbergasted.
So I'm gloating over the fact that the 2 predictions I did make on Saturday have turned out to be completely
Turned out to be
correct.
irrelevant.
No.
Turned out to be completely irrelevant and unnecessary, and
Well,
weren't what we were
those are the
asking
2
for. We were
predictions I
trying to
made,
see
and
your
it is
predictive
exactly
capabilities
that.
of your
The image
model.
is
You're
compressed,
talking over me,
and there's
Rumpus.
no
So we were trying to
part.
test the predictive capabilities of your model, and you were unable to actually provide us with those. So
I did. I
in
made
terms
2
of your
predictions.
prediction, we weren't interested in the prediction that you
Yeah, I don't
gave.
care
You
what
just
you went
gave it
to,
us
those are 2
anyway.
predictions.
You arbitrarily
Right.
gave us a prediction we didn't actually want.
I
So
didn't care
from
what
that
you
point
wanted.
of view,
Those were the 2
you can
predictions
claim
I
that
was
you've
prepared
made a
to make.
prediction,
You
but
don't
you
have
weren't
a working
actually interested
model,
in the
Rumpus.
prediction
Right,
that you
okay,
made.
and
No, you don't.
So
Right,
yeah.
Jen, stop. Let's have
And
some
we're
decorum.
predicting it on
First thing
Saturday.
you said was that there was no inferior mirage in the picture. Would you click on my icon in the thing? I'm presenting a picture, and there is at least one inferior
No,
mirage.
they're not inferior mirage. I tell you, Anthony, if you go and look at them, they're animated. There are something to do with the water. I think they might even be waves. If you go and
Are you kidding me?
there are bits. There
What
are
are
bits.
you talking about? Clearly,
Anthony, let me make my point.
Hold on,
Animated
Anthony.
Let me
as
make
in-
my
Hold on,
point.
Arwin. Let him actually make his point.
For God's
It's
sake.
really weird.
Arwin, stop interrupting me. Anthony, if you go and look at various parts of your video where you actually stop, there are just occasionally, because you're incompetent with your camera work, but there are occasions when you actually stop and you can see they're animated. They are not the result of refraction.
Right, if you call me anything personal again, Rumpus, I'm going to kick you now and then. All right?
Well, okay.
Stop being personal. I'm not
Stop
What the
interrupting
hell
me.
do
I'll let
you
you make my
mean with
point.
Do
animated?
you understand how far away 35 miles is when we're looking at something very, very small?
Yes, I do appreciate that.
But you don't appreciate how good this image quality is.
You did not look. This is what you should. I'm amazed you didn't do things like take several shots, scan slowly, scan quickly, take photographs, do it repeatedly, so you don't have these problems where you have this terrible footage
No,
and you
I did
don't
exactly
didn't
that.
take some stills. You see, the camera is not as good at doing video as it is taking stills, and you could then have established that you need this floaty land of yours does
Nonsense.
exist.
It's perfectly focused. What the hell's the problem
Hold on.
here?
Have
With
you
a
ever
video,
done
you
this?
get less
Sorry,
resolution.
hold on a second. Have you ever actually done this, the Rumpus?
I have done shots, long range shots with a high res zoom. Yes.
Can you show us an example of
No, I
what you've done? Let's just
But I
have a
do
look.
agree with Anthony that that is land that he's got there.
Sorry, let's just have your camera use tutorial. So let's see what you've done and how you've done it.
You can't.
More
Anthony, I do
interested
agree with
actually,
you.
Rumpus,
Anthony, I do
whether
agree
it
with
is
you
land.
that is land.
So if you have a working model, why don't you show a ray traced
We'll be doing
piece?
that. I'll be doing that tomorrow.
Actually, exactly that.
I will be doing that tomorrow evening.
Oh yeah. No, I don't care when you're
Look, I
gonna
don't
do
care. I don't
something.
care that you
Just
don't
do
care,
it.
Owen.
Just show it when you
Owen,
got it.
I don't care that you don't care. I'm telling you, come here to gloat over the fact that my 2 predictions.
You
have turned
failed
out
to make
complete.
predictions, and your model didn't make any predictions
Look,
when
Joe,
challenged
on
to.
Saturday-
It only
There's no
took
need
you
to gloat
over a
about your
week to
failure.
back.
I mean, you can try and spin
Saturday.
it.
No, I
AP,
win.
how
Go
are you
into
doing?
the video
How are you?
on
AP?
Saturday, and you will see I made 2 predictions.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
did not
predictions
make
we
the
didn't ask
predictions
for.
that Anthony asked me to
We
make
didn't ask for
because
those
I wouldn't.
predictions. You just gave
Right,
us
so let's
arbitrary
address the first
predictions
one.
that you wanted
He
to
may
give
have
us.
asked me to give him £1 million. I could ask him £1 million.
Yeah,
You've
I'll
got to
say it
agree
again,
to these
because
things.
you're talking
I go,
over me every time I point out that you just gave us predictions that we didn't ask for. So
Those
we
were
weren't
predictions I
interested in
was
those
prepared-
predictions.
Rumpus,
We asked for
can you
very
tell us-
specific things to be predicted, and you couldn't predict them.
I
So
didn't-
telling
I
us
didn't
that you
agree
made
to make
I made
predictions
3
is
predictions
irrelevant
about you
because
too.
we
They
didn't
all
ask
came
for those
true.
I
things.
didn't agree to the predictions that Anthony claimed. He lied about that, I'm afraid.
No, I
Or-
didn't lie about it. I
You did,
presented the
well, okay. Your
Right.
comprehension skills are
Rumpus,
so poor. You
Tell me
don't
what an
understand.
inferior mirage is. Let's get this one out of the way. You predicted there will be no inferior mirage, and that is categorically, evidently, and 100%ly incorrect.
Go back to school, Rumpus.
Go
you
and look,
faggot.
Anthony. If you doubt me, go and look at your video and try and find the spots where you hold the camera stationary, and you will see that those things you're calling an inferior mirage are moving like water.
Rumpus, it's an inferior mirage.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
No. Not
Everybody in chat will look at that and go, there is clearly an inferior mirage.
Well,
Mirage is below the
I've
horizon.
analysed it, and it's not an inferior mirage.
Well, what is it then?
It's something to do with the movement of water. If you go, as I say, you can go to this yourself.
Oh, something.
If you
It's
go and look at
animated.
this,
Yeah, hold on, you've
Owen,
just asked him a question. Let him
okay.
answer.
Anthony, if you go and look at this, you will see that they are animated, and you will
No,
see they cannot
Okay,
be.
whether it's animated or not, that doesn't
It's-
change the fact that
Well,
it's
it
a
does,
mirage
it
below
does,
the
because
horizon.
it's not part of some constant refraction
You
condition.
are a moron. You are
No,
literally...
you're an idiot.
No,
Are you?
don't
If
add.
you think
Hold
that's
on,
inferior
don't add
mirage,
hom
you're
each
an
other.
absolute
Hold
idiot.
on. Right, you're just saying it's something to do with the water. Well, what specifically, Rumpus?
I believe it's some. I mean, this looks like
Hold
rolling
on,
waves.
not belief. God, why do we have to do this? Not belief.
But it's
What is
not.
it?
It's a new
It's
invention.
not-
It's something
it's not.
new to.
It's not an inferior mirage.
So I
It's
just
not.
don't. I don't want ad
What's
hoc.
more,
I don't want what it's
you do
not.
not-
I don't want your belief. I want to know what it is. Then.
You do not get inferior mirages below the.
Did you not hear what I just said, Rumpus? I don't want to
Made
know what
up
it
a name
isn't.
for it yet.
Hang on. He says you don't get inferior mirages below the horizon. That by definition, is the inferior mirage.
No, it's not. An inferior mirage is something that's below the image that is the thing. It's not below the horizon.
You're dishonest, Rumpus.
Well, no.
What the hell are you
He's saying
talking
the
about?
horizon in his world. Let's just get it straight here. So immediately he's going to presuppose that the horizon is 3 miles away, aren't you, Rumpus? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to assume that we're on a sphere. You're going to beg the question and tell him that the horizon's closer than the actual horizon that we see in the picture, which is also not an actual horizon, an apparent horizon. In this case, with a coincidentally almost
Well,
identical image that
it's
is from
closer than
above
3
it,
miles, actually.
which I would
He's so
describe.
low. He's so.
I would describe as a mirage. So I don't really understand why you're denying this. That's what we've got. You can't just say because I begged the question and put the horizon at 3 miles, it's not below the horizon. That's just begging the question.
It's not an inferior mirage.
Yeah, you just keep saying it's not an inferior mirage. I've told you this. I'm not interested in what it isn't. You've said that it's something to do with the waves and then gone on about your belief. And I'm not interested in what you believe. What is it then? You can't tell me, so let's move
I
on.
can tell you what it isn't.
I don't, how many times are you deaf or just retarded? It seems like both every time I speak to you. Don't tell me what it isn't, man. Yeah? Tell me what it is. And if you can't tell me what it is, this is a moot point. Let's just move on.
Right, but the other prediction I made was that these things.
I'm
are
not
compressed.
interested in the other prediction that you arbitrarily gave us and weren't asked for.
I'm not interested that you're not interested. I don't
I don't care. I run this show and I will decide what's interesting here.
But what I do agree with Anthony about is that there is some floaty land on the right-hand side, and that does, in theory, invalidate the metabunk calculator. And there is land there, and our model predicted it from the weather conditions that we determined for
No,
that
it didn't.
day.
We asked you to predict it and you didn't provide it. You provided us with your arbitrary predictions of nonsense that we didn't ask for. You didn't predict anything. You're a total failure in that regard.
I made 2 solid predictions.
You made 2 predictions we didn't ask for. We asked your model to tell us what conditions were necessary. You didn't give them us, and now you're saying you didn't agree to give them us. Well, that's pointless nonsense. You are a failure in the regards to your model, your pseudoscience model, which proves nothing, and its predictive capabilities that it does not have.
I made 2 predictions that.
You made 2 arbitrary predictions that we did not ask for.
Who cares whether you ask for them?
Yeah, well, that's what we're doing. We're challenging your model, so you may not care what we ask for. You may just decide what you're going to give us, and we're not interested. That's why I'm shutting you down. Same way I'm shutting you down with this actual nonsense of what's blocking the picture. You don't know, so let's move on.
Okay, so what you will notice in these images that Anthony's producing is the compression. These are very, very compressed. The images, and you'll see that, for instance, the nose cone. This is why Anthony didn't recognize it. The nose cone is not the normal shape, and that's because, along with Snaefell and North Barrule and the Isle of Stuff to the right, it's very highly compressed due to the weather conditions.
Can you let
at
Sly
that
know
time,
that,
which were
please?
unusual.
Can you pass that on to Sly, who's clearly an idiot?
Sly has. I don't think Sly's correct in his analysis.
Yeah, he's an idiot. Can you pass this on to him?
No, he's not an idiot. He's a
Yes,
very.
he is. He's a pretender clown idiot who doesn't understand science. Like you, he's also a science denier. But in this instance, he's very clearly an idiot.
No, he's not an idiot.
Yes, he is. It's compressed, and he seems to think that you can transpose a non-compressed image over the top of a compressed image and claim victory because of curvature, because he is an idiot.
No, he's not an idiot.
Yes, let's make it absolutely clear that what you're saying he is wrong about is where he is claiming victory, because he's a pretender clown, science-denying idiot.
He's a very talented guy.
And also, in this case, completely and utterly incorrect, therefore, a science-denying, pretender clown, idiot. Let's keep going. Let's keep going about Sly Sparkane, the pretender clown idiot. I don't mind labouring this point all day.
He's a talented guy.
Talented guy who's wrong in this instance, therefore, a pretender clown, science-denying moron idiot. You stutter over how moronic Sly Sparkane is for not recognising the compression that you're now talking about. Let's go on and talk about this compression a bit more that Sly hasn't recognised because he's too stupid.
Well, okay, the compression is very interesting. It's all part of these conditions. And
make sure you let Sly know just how interesting it is. Sorry to interrupt.
I will be inviting him onto the Hangout on Saturday with me and Philip. So
I'll point out how stupid he is and that he's a pretender clown.
No, I'll be telling you how talented he is.
I'll point out that he's a pretender clown and he denies science.
Pretender clown.
And he denies evidence. And he literally lies to people with deceit.
No, he does not lie.
And he creates straw man arguments by not looking at the actual claims that have been made. And he's an idiot, and he's a pretender clown, and he's a science denier. All of these things apply specifically to Sly Sparkane.
Anthony, how is he lying?
He's deceiving people with facts that are not true.
That's not right. So you do not understand the word dishonest or lying. To lie means that you're deliberately telling an untruth with the intention of deceiving people. That's not.
What I just said.
No, yeah, but he hasn't. He's just made a little mistake. That's all.
No, he hasn't. He's made a massive mistake. He's deliberately selected the evidence he wants people to see.
He has.
Why did he not deal with the point in hand?
Because he didn't think he could see it. It's quite...
No, he said that's not important. So he clearly understood and recognised what was there, acknowledged it, and said it's not important. Therefore, he disregarded it.
No, he didn't see it. He honestly...
No, he denied it. He recognised it, points out its existence, the stuff on the right-hand side, he says, and then says it's not important. He didn't not see it. That's just lies and nonsense and obfuscation of the fact that he is, again, let's highlight it, a pretender clown, retard, moron, idiot, science denier. That's what the problem is here. Let's get it clear.
And he didn't, unfortunately, as Anthony's showing there, he didn't include the nose cone, which should have suggested to him.
Sorry about that, Rumpus. I should have added disingenuous to the list. I just forgot.
He's a talented, honest guy.
Disingenuous, science-denying, retard, idiot, pretender clown. That's right, Rumpus, correct.
Talented, honest guy.
No, who's also a pretender clown, wrong in this instance, and a science denier.
He's talented, honest, science-enhancing guy.
Science-denying, pseudoscience-believing, ball-earth believing, religious zealot. Yeah, you can add those to the list too.
No,
we can go on all day.
You've got to understand the difference between someone having an opinion and being wrong and lying, and you don't know the difference between those.
Yeah, we know he's wrong and an idiot. We can establish that firmly. We're in agreement about just how wrong and idiotic he is. I'm glad we're in agreement about that.
You're doing that intent right now. You're denying the evidence, intentionally trying to deceive people.
What evidence am I denying?
You're denying the evidence of an inferior mirage that you incorrectly predicted.
No, that's not an inferior mirage.
Yes, it is.
You do not get mirages in that location relative to the horizon. Go and look it up. You'll find it cannot happen. You're an idiot.
I'm sorry. Did I not just go through this when I said you are presupposing that the horizon is 3 miles away? Are you deaf?
Well, it is 3 miles away.
Let's get it right, just for the fucktard that is Rumpus. You do not beg the question here. Do you hear me, you moron? The horizon is not 3 miles away unless you presuppose you're on a bloody sphere. You beg the question. Yeah, we're trying to prove whether or not that's the case, you retard. Don't presuppose it here again. If you presuppose it again, if you beg the question, I'll just kick your ass out. It's so disrespectful.
Well, yeah, but you've abused...
Yeah. Don't stutter, you stupid moron. Don't beg the question here, you stupid buffoon.
Not going to be treated very well.
Well, get out then.
Well,
talented.
Nathan, what do you think?
Get out, you stupid idiot.
Jeez Louise. Oh
I've got to be honest, I was literally...
Good for you, Nathan.
Myself. I don't know how anybody on the baller side can argue against that being an inferior mirage. It's ridiculous. Sly's lying. Rumpus is doubling down on his lies. This has fucked these guys. It really has got them fucked because they can't explain why that land is there.
Oh, he's gone.
Anyway,
To be
there's
honest,
loads of new guests.
Anybody who
Hey,
understands this whole
I'll
thing
just say hello
really
to you.
has
Sorry,
something-
should really say hello. Haunted House, Nummy, Chocolate's saying, how you doing?
How's it
What's
going,
up,
man?
man?
Nathan in super form. You need
Yeah.
an independent variable, Brenda. You are a retard. Oh my god.
I like moron better. Moron is better.
Haunted, did
like
you
a
see the mirage in the image, the inferior mirage that Rumpus claimed wouldn't be there, and when he's got it under his nose, he then says it's not a mirage, it's an animation. I'm like, oh, that's new science.
No,
Did you see
didn't
that?
say
You know,
animation. He said anime.
anybody,
But I wonder
any
what he
kind of
meant.
any kind of serious debate where to sit down, organize the event, where that an outcome needs to be reached for whatever sake, it's a public matter, civil matters. That kind of behavior wouldn't be like, no, you got to have your stuff together. And these guys just don't, they belabor one point over and over again, as if it's not going to be one thing that does anything, makes any changes. Flat Earth we've come to this conclusion that it's flat because of many different reasons.
Hey, Haunted.
What's up?
Haunted. I asked you a question. Did you see an inferior?
I actually didn't see. What's the picture you guys were talking about?
Okay, I'll come back to
Chicago
this.
one.
Nummy, did you see an inferior mirage?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I know what you're talking about for sure.
So you saw an inferior mirage, right? So, okay, so what we'll do then, for the benefit of Haunted, who's just popped in, we shall play the video again, and I'm trying to remember where it is now. Play the video again, and Haunted, be honest, if you don't see an inferior mirage here, just say. If you do see one, say.
You know why he doesn't want it there? He wants the horizon at 3 miles in this instance because it's a globe debunker if you've got a mirage that's also being refracted around the curve, because it's an impossibility. So he needs the horizon to obscure any miraging, and he needs it to be 3 miles away. So he has to beg the question, because it makes no sense. This only works if we're on a flat plane.
So, Haunted, did you see an inferior mirage in the image there, or would you honestly say that you maybe not, or if you're not sure, just say.
Okay, I just made it bigger.
An inferior mirage is the one that sits below
No.
the horizon. In contrast to a superior mirage, which is like a Fata Morgana that appears above the horizon. Do you see an inferior mirage?
No,
No?
I don't see
No.
it.
Okay, Nathan, do you see an inferior mirage?
Okay, now I see something.
Yeah. Are you on a mobile phone? That might be why.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Right.
can see it nice and easy.
I
I've
think
got
he's
it
got
on
a
a...
small screen, and on that basis, I'll give him some leeway.
It
Because I don't think
looks
there's any
like
flat earther that would argue that there is not an inferior mirage in the image. There clearly is, and the Rumpus clearly got it wrong.
But if somebody
it looks like
has-
four
wants
different
to con-
horizons.
Yeah.
if somebody wants to contest information, that's the best thing we can do is to keep attacking all the arguments that Flat Earth has, because that's a good way to just trim the fat. That needs to be done once in a while.
See, like right there, that looks crazy.
Yeah. It looks crazy. And
That looks.
what's even worse is how many horizons are there at this point when I start zooming out?
I mean, it looks like 5 horizons right there.
Yeah. There's at least
What the hell is that, man?
right. There's mirages all over this, and it appears to be all inferior, right? Which is the exact claim he made, or the prediction he made, which wasn't asked for, but he made it anyway, and he was completely wrong. Completely wrong. So I don't understand what Rumpus is trying to do here. Is he deliberately stupid?
I've just told you. The reason he's got to do it is because he has to presuppose that the horizon is 3 miles away, putting everything else bending around the curve, right? So if it's looming up to the 3 mile horizon. So if you have this miraging effect, essentially, if you could, I don't think you can at this height, if you were another, if you were actually at a meter, you probably could see a mirror line, but it's being obscured by spray, because you're that close to the water's edge. There's going to be stuff that does actually interfere in that age-old way Flat Earth is used to use. But in this instance, it does hold true. But if you could identify the mirror line, you would identify the horizon. That's the true horizon. The dissecting point in the circle of confusion is the horizon. Well, that debunks the horizon being at 3 miles now, doesn't it? So he has to assert it in reverse to stay true to the ball. That's why I jumped down his throat. He needs to presuppose it to debunk it.
The other thing to note is that when he just described what he said was like an animation, he's actually talking about the waves. We see that there were waves that you expect. If you were to draw waves on a horizon, you would draw them like that, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the waves on the horizon. That's why he describes it as an animation. But the reality is, whatever it is on the horizon, there is still an inferior mirage, and there is land above it. So maybe,
well, I mean, just by nature of the water, it's always going to be flat.
Yeah.
And what's the big, like if this guy, let's say he did prove his point, then what? You know, how far does he think he's going to go with it?
Straw man. I mean, it was completely irrelevant to the point in hand.
Yeah, Sly built up a straw man, but I mean, the reason they're over this like flies on shit is because it's riddled with flat Earth evidence. It's not supporting their narrative in any way.
And if something wrong.
And the other thing is, they challenged me to do it because they thought I was good at it. But I've gone back and got it. And that shit's all over the argument.
Is it just me, or does it feel like it's come down to just petty? Like, I want to make you feel like an idiot. I want to make you look like an idiot. I want to find the best information that'll destroy you and humiliate you when it's not really about science. Because that's what it seems like they're looking for.
It seems to me
because their science is failing.
They will literally deny all evidence contrary to their views and belief. They will just literally deny it or dismiss with ridicule, which is what Sly did. I mean, there is no way that this is a meter. It's level. There is no elevation difference there. It's like inches.
We'll do that on another show when Ranty's around. I know, sorry to interrupt. I know Ranty's got the reverse of this. So he's got the picture from if you were standing at the shore and you turned around and looked back at St. Bees. That's what Ranty's got, and it's really obvious in those pictures just how flat it is beyond those rocks. And it is, you know, you've probably got an inch between where he's at and where the sea is in terms of relief. There's nothing. So if he's 6 inches, that's optimistic. You know, I think he's probably 4 inches off the sea.
Let me deal with Alan Jankowski. Alan says...
Can I ask you a quick question? Maybe you guys have seen this before. Has anyone taken a boat and, let's say, right at the shoreline that we're seeing right here, set up a camera on the beach, then get in a boat, paddle out, I don't know, as far as you want to go, aim the camera back at the other camera. When you're done and you want to go into post, and put a split screen there. That way we can see what each one is seeing. That sort of thing.
They would deny it anyway.
Well, it would be interesting to see what the perspective is from the object that supposedly had disappeared, you know? Like we could watch it in real time. We see it disappearing and the boat would capture nothing. Like
right
the camera in the boat.
To be honest, right now for me, the phrase that's going through my mind is intellectual honesty. Because if we're going to be intellectually honest... I tried with that one. Good luck. Good luck, Riley. Yeah, if we're going to be intellectual...
I tried it before and it's just, no. It's honestly is for the soul. It's for the individual only. Once you try to communicate truth to a person, they have to either be willing to accept it or asking the question. You know, other than that, it's games. It's fun and games. There's no reason why we have to hate each other like this. It's just information. And they're so up in arms that's a psychological, it's a mental disorder. It's like faith in Jesus, faith in God. You know, it's a mental disorder to a degree.
And did you?
I'm a rational person who believes in something that may or may not exist.
Don't have.
Did you notice how critical they were of the actual footage? Right. Now, anyone that's got a P900 knows that when you're at full zoom.
Chocolate Sane was trying to get word in.
No, I was just saying these guys don't have any intellectual honesty. If they did, some of this evidence would have at least made them look at it differently, but they don't. They just continue with the same nonsense. I think Rumpus is literally out of his mind.
He's talented. What the word talented for?
No, this isn't stupidness. He has to argue this because he's here deliberately to make sure that no flat Earth evidence comes out. He will try and discredit. I mean, at the end of the day, right, to challenge and criticize me for the way that I handled the video footage. Anyone that has a P900 that knows that when you zoom in, right, if you don't have it on a tripod, and Ranty's a good example, right? He's got a bad tripod and he'll openly admit it. But even on a tripod, Ranty cannot get still footage, right? Without a tripod, using the sand as the stabilizer, I got that fantastic. Yet they still criticized it. Well, scale, guys, go and get a P900 and you show me how you can do a 35 observation from that distance, lay on the sand. Show me how you can do it any better. You can't.
That's exactly what I said to Rumpus. Let's see yours. Let's see how well you've done it, mate. And yeah, that got quickly obfuscated. Anyway, I took a very quick link. So we've got about an hour left on this live stream. I hope you're all enjoying the debate thus far. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, as Joey has done just recently, thanks very much for the super chat, Joey. Simply hit the super chat that's in the live show link when it's running live, and a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. Most importantly, though, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Massive thanks to all who've shared already. Sharing the show increases the chances of a more diverse panel by increasing the live audience, of course, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. As I say, there's about an hour left on this live stream.
That you guys might want to see some Lincoln Tunnel.
Oh.
Say that
I
again.
love perspective too. I'm so I love that you guys like this shit.
Oh, there you go. Got
Put it sideways.
I'm amazed that you can even get that footage in
It's
a
actually
tunnel.
moving.
Yeah, he's in a tunnel. How are you getting that to
Tunnel
us?
is actually moving.
Isn't
Magic
it
of-
weird? If you look at what you're looking at, we could be going up, we could be going down, we could, you can't figure out without a reference. You don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the cars are there, but
Do you know, them cars look actually about normal sized again now. They don't look like these big, massive monstrosity things that Americans all used to have traditionally. They actually look European now. I mean, that one's an
Yeah,
example.
till you see a pickup truck go by.
Yeah, the minute the pickup truck came by, it kind of made me look stupid, but they don't look that big anymore, right, Nath?
No, they've got loads
Ready
of
for the
European
big
cars
city?
out there. They've
Here
got
we go.
Mercs and stuff like that. But I think what they'd consider to be a small car would be what we call an Astra. What they call a Focus over there, they call a compact car.
Yeah.
wow! All right,
Yeah, it's cool.
New York,
It's
here we
cool.
come. Yellow.
Yeah, it is ace watching. Your cameras, so is it an iPhone that, or is it an Android?
Yeah, it's a front iPhone camera.
It's fantastic image quality for,
Yeah,
a mobile device.
Apple stuff.
Yeah.
The PCs,
The
everything.
files are huge.
It's great. They've just got it right. You asked Patricia, how have you got your camera so
Oh,
good?
yeah.
It's like, well, she's got an whatever they call it, on the Mac, and it just looks good. They've just got it right.
It looks like you're in England, to be honest. I mean, not now with all the high rises, but them cars and the way that it's built, it kind of looks England. It doesn't look America anymore. It's weird.
Yeah, but that's New York. In New York,
This is New
Yeah, there's a
York
Mini.
City, baby.
New York
Is it
is
Mini?
kind of different
No,
from
maybe
the
not.
rest of the United States.
There it is, a Mini.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen any other city like New York, just by sheer size. Like when you travel through the Midwest, you'll see like, I don't know, maybe 10 square blocks worth of buildings that are somewhat high rise like. And
Yeah.
that's about it.
Is
That's
it
about
just me, or is that
City-
building in the middle, the tall white one, is that curving away from me on the curve of the Earth, or what?
I think the crane is about to fall off the roof.
Definitely curving away from us, eh? There's
biggest city
globe
on
Earth proof right there.
They used
But
to advertise.
it's actually
You can see the
dwarfed
curvature of the curvature of the Earth from the World Trade Center.
Are you
Sorry.
getting beat
Blew
back?
that cut off. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just cut a guy off. He's fine.
That's all good.
There's no rules in this town.
All good.
What about all the honking? Where's all the honking? Are you?
Well, they put signs up. There's a $350 fine for excessive noise.
Oh, they've changed the. There used to.
Yeah,
Used to
some
stop.
areas you can't honk, or you'll actually get fined.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good that they did that because it used
Wait.
to just like They had their unique traffic laws that just allowed.
Check this grass out.
Last time we had this conversation, we were on a call similar to this with Haunted House, just on Skype, not being broadcast as this is. And he explained exactly that to us, Nummy. He's like, oh yeah, there's these signs everywhere, no honking, and he showed us one. And he goes, check out my horn. And then he showed us the city horn, then he showed us the highway horn, which is really loud.
I love that horn. Holy. Yeah, it's... Now I'm in the van.
Can you get it? Can you show us a shot of all the giant rats everywhere?
The rats, you know, that's New York, man. People would like to see rats again, because
Really?
that would be symbolic of
But
old
then you
New
have to
York.
go to Italy. They seem to be rampant right there.
No, and I was in.
No,
when I
they're
traveled
still in New York.
I saw like the hugest rats all over the place. Like
Yeah,
rats
they're like the size of cats, bro.
yeah, they're like 2-foot rats. Like really, you can't even
Like
imagine.
ridiculous,
Like,
and they're not scared. They're not
Hey, you
scared
better
of
get
you
off
at
his
all.
phone. I saw a policeman.
They'll walk right up to you like what?
yeah.
Like they don't care at all, man.
Is that a policeman or a traffic warden?
It's a
Traffic.
policeman who
It's like
it's
a
like
woman.
it's like the eunuch equivalent to a policeman.
It's a cleverly disguised
I know,
mugger.
Why is
It's
everybody
like if you
like fuck?
if
Well,
they
there's
mess with you, you just tell them, leave me alone, buddy, and they're like, oh come on, let me arrest you, let me just try it. See how old that little brick thing is right there that says 495?
Yeah.
That's easily been there since the 80s. It's like a lot of it has been replaced. Not that building though. And it's the
Nothing.
big thing, shit like this white building.
That
You know,
seems
lots of
old to you.
nastiness.
Something that's still there from the 80s. My parents lived in a
And
400-year-old
Do you
building.
guys remember? Do you guys remember the airplane that hit the building? I mean, you may not remember as well as I do, but
No planes hit the building, man.
I was gonna say, which plane are you on about? The plane that hit the building?
this was a Yankee, a baseball player who was recreationally flying his little plane, and he lost control and he crashed into a high rise. I saw the damage, and it was like a couple of boarded up windows. The plane dropped down the side of the building and landed in the see how they're doing like construction here, and landed in like the basket, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, no planes hit 9/11. We know that one. We're all right
Oh
with that.
hell no.
There was the military.
There's
plane that-
some inch.
There was a military plane that crashed into the Empire State Building as well, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
No, it was in.
Yeah,
That was way
there's
back.
this gorilla.
It was in black and
Gorilla
white.
grabbed it though.
Yeah, are you sure you're not thinking of King Kong climbing up it?
No, there was a plane that crashed into the Empire State Building.
Hey, buddy, I think we got a flat Earth over there. all right. That's all
You
I
hit
think
flat
it's
smack in the coppers.
Yeah.
New
Celebrities
York
over here, big-
has a storied history of collisions with high-rise buildings and planes. Very unusual.
Look at this guy, with the finger over there. Hey, buddy, tell him, where am I supposed to go again? You saw the finger.
What are they having? What are those crisis actors? Are they about to stage an
Oh,
attack?
yeah.
Anyway, should we
like
see
crisis
if we can
actors.
at least
Let
try and
everyone
assemble a
Oh,
flat Earth conversation
I'm
out
on
of this, as much as it's fun watching you travel around
Why
New
would be a
York.
crisis actor?
This is a live show.
Yeah, this is a live
I would
show
totally
about
be a
flat Earth.
crisis.
Let's be honest.
See, there's New Jersey. All the way across
This is
there.
proof right here that New York exists.
There you go.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
proof
That
that.
video is I think those people are CGI.
I mean, the whole of Manhattan's going to be surveyed as flat, though, right? You're not gonna find that they've engineered any curve into any of these blocks, and it's miles and miles and miles of flat cityscape, right?
Well, my theory with New Yorkers and flat Earth, like, there's not that many around here, at least not that I know of, and I think it's because the topology. Look at these people. Big don't walk sign. Doesn't matter. So you run a couple over.
From this angle, it
I
looks like
think
you
they
just run over
can't.
four
They
people.
can't get back enough to really get perspective when you're in the city. You're constantly stuck looking at things that are so close. I
So
don't think they really think
let's
about
get
it.
But
back
it's
to flat Earth.
crazy because you could see the Statue of Liberty from so many different places around New York, places where you're not supposed to be able to see it. Like,
Who's talking right now?
supposed
Is
to
that
be hit.
chocolate?
yeah, bro.
Hey man, I was talking to you the other night.
Yeah,
Bugging
what's
the
up,
shit out of
man?
you.
Sound like you've changed your microphone as well, Chocolate. Have you on a different mic?
Yeah, I have 2 different mics.
This one's a
My
lot better than the other one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Should I ask somebody? Should
Yeah,
I ask a construction worker?
Yeah, the other one's a Bluetooth mic. It's charging right now. This is a straight headphone jack into my phone.
This is really good. Good quality. Hey, but listen, on a flat Earth note, let's go back to flat Earth for a minute. Sly the Lie Arcane is in chat right now, and he claims, and I quote,
He said it was a circle.
Hold on, you're missing him flat smacking people on the street.
"Ah,
He was cool about it though. He was like, "I guess it's a big circle," which
You're talking to the CGI.
it's a azimuthal pedestrian projection.
hey, John, Haunted, listen, just pull over randomly to a random member of the public and just pull up next to them and say, hey, did you know the Earth's flat? And see what the reaction is.
He was. You talked
You know,
over him.
if I wasn't in a rush to get down to NYU, I would. But I stop every street, so it's good because if somebody gets a little crazy, I can just get the hell out of there.
Yeah, pull a gun on you.
Nah, it's
Haunted, where in New York are you? Like where are you from?
23rd and the
No.
West Side Highway.
No, I don't mean where you are now. Like where are you from?
Oh, well, I'm from New Jersey.
Oh, you're in Jersey. Okay.
I've forsaken my New York privileges.
You're a visitor.
Yeah, I used to. It's expensive.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know.
Great content, boys. Great content. Well done.
Look, man, I tried to salvage it 2 or 3 minutes to go back onto flat Earth. We'll get there, Alan. We'll get there. Promise.
I know, and I did try 60 seconds ago.
I know.
And
We're
Nathan
getting
stopped
there.
it.
But I'm gonna leave your picture up, Haunted, if that's good by you.
I don't know why these people just don't join the party and like become flat earthers. Like, why?
The consequences of turning against the Brotherhood from the trolls is terrible, right? I mean, if I was put it this way, if I was in, let's say that I was in Sly Sparkane's shoes, right, and I realized that the Earth weren't a ball, I'm not going to go against the Brotherhood of Ballers, the trolls, because he would be targeted by every troll until he denounced it and said, "Oh no, I was only joking."
And then we'd probably never trust him, right? We'd just think he was trolling us.
Yeah.
So he's kind of screwed now, right? So you have to completely kill his channel, invent a whole new identity, and create a new voice. Put on a wig, fake prosthetic nose. A lot of work.
Or he could just have the balls and just say, "I don't care, and I believe it's flat."
Yeah.
Just not care what people think.
I love spam.
That's the problem. Too many people want to care how people think.
Liz, if he did turncoat though, would he be accepted by the flat Earth? I mean, maybe some of them would, but I'm not sure I would because the guy is fundamentally dishonest. Yet he calls me that exact thing.
For those of you who've just tuned in, this is a GoPro on Spider-Man's suit. So we're just sweeping through Manhattan with Spider-Man right now.
Spider-Man got hit by a van and he's just sucked for the moment.
Where's Spider-Man?
This is just for those tuning in, Nummy. Don't ruin it.
There's tuchus everywhere.
Oh, you've ruined it now. We've seen the steering wheel. No, it's not really Spider-Man. Haunted house.
Nathan, Sly the Lie Sparkane has asked, Riley using the independent variable by filming from St. Bees Beach confirms the globe. Cool, right?
No. It's not an experiment. It's just an observation.
Yeah, an observation that shouldn't happen on a ball. Right, Sly?
I think Sly's misunderstanding
the
here. So, no, right. Unless you can show me that we've had, like the globe, 2,000 years of backup from the scientific community, then we aren't tarred with the same yardstick as you guys. We don't go around declaring that the whole body of science is behind this nonsense ball earth assertion. We don't declare that. You do. So when it comes to your evidence, considering that you have science behind you, we ask you for scientific evidence. 2,000 years is how long you've had to acquire it. The whole body of science is what you've got to support you. So when we ask you to provide scientific evidence of your ball earth religion, that is the reason why. We are just YouTubers. Look, we're streaming from Manhattan. You know, this is what we've got. Cameras. That's our extent of our
I got a good line
laboratory.
lined
You know,
up.
this is it. And we've had about 3 years in order to acquire our evidence. And our evidence at the moment is only observation based. Once we get rid of your nonsense religion based on assumption, then we might get somewhere with science. We might start getting science on our side to actually give us some real flat earth science. But until then, I'm not a scientist, Anthony's not a scientist, and neither of us have had the whole body of science behind us for 2,000 years. You have. And yet, you've got nothing. Literally zero scientific evidence for your ball earth religion. Just assumptions.
Well, to be honest, Nathan, it's not just all observation based.
And the other thing I want to
We
point
do
out,
have gyroscopes, remember?
the other
I
thing
think that
point
argument
out-
is really starting to irk them.
Gyroscopes are
That's
not
the
a
argument
naturally
that I think
observed
is trying to
phenomenon.
get to them.
So,
That
sorry,
2,000
Owen.
years
No.
that you guys have no proof.
This
You
guy
know,
right
I
here.
can't- I've just got to address that. Sorry, I can't
He's,
jump down the throat of a baller saying if you fire a gun, it proves Coriolis, and then let you say, well, gyroscopes, that's scientific. That's not just an observation. Well, what you're actually doing is observing the effect of a man-made device, which would be a gyroscope. It's not a naturally observing phenomenon.
Hey, buddy in pink. My friend says the Earth is flat.
What do you mean my friend says?
Oh yeah. He says he's not from here.
He said,
sorry.
I'm not from round here.
Don't
Yes,
say
I'm
my
not from
friend
here, mate.
says. What you
He's
need
not
to say-
from around this planet.
Don't say don't say my friend says. Say, hey, do you know the Earth's flat? See what he shouts.
Maybe he doesn't want to
you
put
know
his
what?
pin on that.
Hang on. You're not in an open carry state, are you?
No.
Just making sure.
No, I'm in Chelsea, which means
No, New York
if
is not
anything,
open carry.
if
No,
anything,
concealed
I'm gonna have a
weapons
boyfriend
only.
by the end of it. Like, hi, honey. Oh, you want to flat me? I don't know. You can flat me all over the place, you little bitch. Well, come on down. Why don't you come upstairs and something? Where you going? What were you talking about smacking?
Homophobic and stupid.
If you had guns, you'd want open
Oh,
carry
my God.
policy.
No, Alan.
You homophobe.
Yes, Alwyn.
No, he is actually.
What's your problem with gay people? What's your problem with gay people?
Let's keep it flat earth. It was alright when you were flat smacking the pedestrians.
That's right. It turned messy the other day.
Go on, flat smack someone. Go on.
All right, let me see. We got a smaller street here, 7th Avenue. But you see, if Anthony, if I say my friend says, that way I'm not in his face. Because if I say I'm the flat earther, then he's got to answer to me, and he's going to think I'm crazy, and he might. It's just more of a chance, I think, to get an answer.
No way. In God we trust. You just do not see shit like that on commercial vehicles around here.
Oh, you know what you see on trucks around here? It'll say something like that. It'll have a message, and then on the left, it'll have like no, and then on the right, it'll say yes, or vice versa. You know, like in other words, don't pass here, pass on this side. But a lot of people switch it up and they'll put like the Mets and the Yankees, they'll put grateful and dead, or they'll put heaven and hell, like Satan, God, or something like that. Satan.
I've never seen a religious message on the back of a commercial vehicle ever in my life in England.
Anyway.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with the.
Anyway, Haunted, you're hijacking the whole hangout here. We want a flat smack slice back.
Sorry.
Right,
Yeah.
so
you guys do realize all he has to do is put out some little quibble about refraction, and it's like refraction isn't really something it's hard to determine things like that with digital imagery on a hangout and that sort of thing, because it's so left up to interpretation, and even though it truly isn't, it'll be taken advantage of.
No, they basically
sort of thing.
misconstrue what it is. They constantly try to use it to bend an image around. It's abuse. It's abuse of optical lore, because they're basically misrepresenting how optics work.
It's a total perversion. Like all that refraction really does is create optical turbulence, scintillation.
They still haven't found the curve yet.
It's also very specific in what it does and how it works. And,
yeah, I'm just saying
and they're
that
misrepresenting it. They're basically they're mechanizing it. They're
the entire idea that light
Still no
can
curve.
bend around a curve and maintain a large scale image intact is complete folly. There's no evidence.
Did you miss the one thing that Rumpus did say? Because he did point out that Mick West's calculations are completely bogus. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah.
They're now retreating to fallback positions on, which is good. So if there's something that's accomplished from this,
It's announced in Mick West's Metabunk website. I don't see how
Hey,
others.
what's up, man? The Earth is flat, baby. Right? He's like, would you call me fat? He was like, nope, not gonna be me today.
okay, we moved on from this now, haunted house. We're talking about something else. So
yeah. I'm not over Rumpus's blatant lie that he supposedly has a working model, which he can use to make images. Yet he never does that.
Hey, Space News, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Good to have you.
He's holding a phone.
space news, space vagina.
Space news. Okay, I'll ask the dude with the space
News video.
beer. He looks like you would know.
What?
Let me get a little bit closer over here. Because it's a situation where, like, I really hope he doesn't look at me like filming him, like, filming me.
Just don't crash into the car in front trying to drive off.
Talk to us more about the
I'll ask him though.
And hey, Haunted, once you've
Hold
done
on,
this,
Hey, man. My friend wants to know if the Earth is flat. He's on the phone here.
Yeah.
If the Earth is flat. If the Earth is flat. No, it's not. All right. Well, you know what? Look into it.
Okay, can we give that a
That's a
rest
good
now,
answer.
maybe? Like,
Yeah, I think that tops him. Thank you, though,
All right,
Haunted.
I'll stop doing that. Okay.
yeah, man, we
Smack
need to focus on the Slice Arcane. I mean, he needs a
There
bit
you
of
go.
beating and Rumpus.
I gotta go, guys. Anyway, so take care. Have a good debate. I'll talk to
Been a
you all later.
pleasure. Thank you,
Cool, man.
Haunted.
bye-bye.
Later, man.
As much
You
as
should
I
just-
love it,
You should just do videos on his own like that.
Yeah, it's just going to make the show unwatchable later, right? So
yeah, right. So Sly's saying right now, dishonest? Question mark. Are you saying that your footage is somehow fake? Just because that would be the only way I could be dishonest using it. No, Sly, you were dishonest. You cherry picked the point. You didn't address the point that I did make, and you just refused to address. You refused to acknowledge that there was land there. Even Rumpus admits that there's land there. So is Rumpus wrong as well, or is it that you're just ignorant and you're turning a blind eye like Nelson did?
why don't you come on, Sly, and talk to us?
He can't come on. He's in work.
Oh.
Brazilian goddess says, Slice Barcane, finish him. Slice Barcane, he can finish a bag of chips, but he can't do much anything else about finishing anything.
Why don't you come on, Brazilian goddess? Let's put someone in here to defend this stuff.
Well, let's be honest. The Rumpus tried, he did come on, and he did try and defend his position, but he said that there wasn't an inferior mirage. Well, I mean, Haunted House couldn't see that there was an inferior mirage or not because he was on his phone. But everybody in here accepts that there was actually an inferior mirage. So I don't know. I don't understand how anybody on the Bald Earth side could argue that there's no inferior mirage. There is obviously an inferior mirage. Does anybody disagree with me on the panel?
No, nobody's going to disagree with you. It's because it's a globe Earth killer in that regard. You can't have a mirage being refracted around the curve, right?
Correct.
Right, so you have to denounce that. You have to put that to bed, man. That's why he's come on. He doesn't want to be called an idiot and a retard by me repeatedly. He certainly doesn't want me humiliating Slice Barcane, who's on his side, over and over again. He's here to make it clear that the horizon's at 3 miles. He needs to be on to beg the question. That's it. That's his purpose here.
Sly can watch the first 10 minutes of this hangout because for some reason he seems to be doubling down on his position. Sly, you're a moron. Watch the first 10 minutes where we rip you a new arsehole. Bad enough as it is. It's just going to get worse if you carry on like doubling down. So stop, for the love of God, just stop. I think everybody realizes now that Sly knows that it's not a ball. I mean, I'm not convinced that it's flat totally, but it's definitely not a ball the size they tell us. Light doesn't bend from behind a curve. It may well bend, and it deviates from like straight, but it can bend up or down, left or right. It can just disorientate people with regards to the position or the actual straightness of it. But it don't bend behind no ball, don't bend behind no curve. It's ridiculous.
It's going to take slow Sparkane a little bit of time to get this, so, you know, I'm willing to concede and say, look, true to form, it's taking slow a little bit longer. So, you know, don't worry about it. Back to the circus with you.
Isn't Space News a Glober? Isn't there a Glober on the panel right now?
Definitely.
Cool. Got any scientific
there you
evidence
go.
of Earth curvature? Or rotation?
We're looking at a curvature right now in your video. That's what the horizon is.
You reckon?
Yeah,
You reckon that's curved?
definitely.
No. It's definitely just straight up. Pretty flat, straight up until the apparent horizon there. There's the slant. That's it. Just a little corner.
Which would make perfect sense if you could never see anything past the horizon.
Or is that
Which you can,
Grim?
so it doesn't make perfect sense.
No, you
Grim,
can
why,
actually see things
why?
beyond the horizon.
Why would
Yes,
you
you
come
can.
back here, Grim? Go away.
Oh.
You don't deserve to be on here.
Oh. Is Jazz Conda kicking people?
Yes, you most certainly can see things past the
Yeah,
horizon.
get out, Grim.
Is that Grim?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye, Grim. Yeah, you don't get to have an opinion here. Consider yourself lucky.
Oh, we got the drunk on now.
The drunk? Who's the drunk?
Jazzerconda.
Sorry, I didn't see you join there, Jazz. How you doing?
Come on now.
He does sound drunk sometimes, man. I don't know.
He's drunk. He's drunk most of the time. There's no hiding it.
He really does, though. Sometimes he just sounds like.
I'm sorry, only because I have to be. I'm not right now.
No disrespect. No disrespect.
Okay, you're not drunk today. That's good. Do you regret all the times you came on here and said your mind?
If being sober means I need to go, then
What's that?
So I've just seen a comment there from Sly. It says he wants me to pick one. He says, so according to Riley, either his footage is faked, making me dishonest, or his footage is real and prove the globe. Pick one. The footage is real, Sly. Come again? How does it prove the globe, Sly? Are you being a moron? Are you being a retard? Do you understand what the problem with your position is? There ain't no curve, dude. 700 feet of missing curvature. That land should not be seen. How can you possibly assert that it proves the globe? Are you an idiot? You're trolling, right? You are literally trolling. You are being a denier and you don't want to address this. So, Sly, go back over your stuff. Look at the video. I did it just for you. Come on. Did you display my dishonest use of your old and new footage in your Hangout yet? Did you display my dishonest use of your old and new... Yes. It's been dealt with, Sly. First 10 minutes. We destroyed it completely. Obliterated. Gone. You're a moron, Sly. You know it's not a ball, but you push the narrative anyway. How dishonest.
Is that you, Riley, talking now?
Yeah, man.
Sleeping. Sorry, yeah, I can't remember. So why does the sun right on the horizon perform a hook maneuver? Like it sort of goes up and down, and then just before it gets to about here where we can see on the screen, it starts veering off. Why would that be on a flat Earth?
Sorry? It's not going underneath the horizon, it's going around the horizon, and different in relative to your position, it's becoming out of your proximity like car headlights.
Yeah, but car headlights don't do that.
Yeah, car headlights, as you move further away, the car headlights will get smaller and smaller and smaller until eventually you can't see them, right?
No, the sun doesn't do that.
No, not really. That's no, not even close. No, what I'm saying is why if the Earth,
perhaps you could answer for me. Go on, Arwin, explain it.
Okay.
if
Well,
the Earth's a flat disk,
no, it's not.
then
No.
is that you talking, Owen? Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, and just an observation that if the Earth was flat, then I would expect the sun to disappear. I wouldn't expect it to go over and under.
Now, well, technically,
I'm just
according to
wondering
that
why at the
model-
last minute it just veers off just before the horizon. It veers
According
off
to
and
that model, there's
travels.
still perspective. So even if the sun was a physical object floating in a circle over a disk, then it would go into the distance, basically go behind the horizon slant underneath it, until it just vanishes from sight, according to perspective. But it doesn't really do that, because it doesn't really decrease in speed as it approaches the horizon. It rather just goes on at a constant angular speed and just disappears, because it's not a tangible object.
Okay, because I'm really getting into this flat Earth stuff. Like I got into it and I was like, this is just crazy. I got out of it going, this is crazy, and now I'm getting back into it. What I'm having trouble with is the sun. Are there like 18 suns going around the Earth?
No.
But there
There's
has to
no
be.
sun. There's no sun going around the Earth. There's only a sun going around the edge of your vision in a globe shape, moves in an arc. It only has a position in relation to the observer, and that position is constantly different depending on your position on the Earth.
So we're in a simulation, Owen.
No, the thing is,
no, the Earth is not a simulation, but the heavens are.
No, we don't know.
How do we
don't know what the heavens are? We don't know, right? It's
we can
intangible.
we can draw conclusions that they're not tangible.
Well, the fact of their being intangible is kind of just acknowledging that we don't know what they are, and that there's a sort of there's an inconclusive-ness.
Yeah, you can't conclude that they're intangible.
But they're not just out of reach. They also, elements of it disappear. Malformations that all point at a holographic nature.
No, I don't think it points at
light-based
holographic nature at all.
Nemi's right. You know, they are by definition intangible. That is what they are. You're not proving anything by saying they're intangible. That's just what they are. By definition, they are intangible. And that's kind of the answer to Jazaconda. It's like, well, what's this, that, and the other with the sun? You can either be honest and go, I don't know, or you can theorize. That's your two choices.
Yeah, that's the
here.
problem. If you say holographic, then you're just falling into the trap that the same trap as the Globers, right? Where you're just making up a just so story, saying something.
No. I'm taking the word in the most literal sense, saying it is light-based. It's a light-based phenomena.
Yeah, I know, but we don't
physical
know.
tangibility.
It might still be an object. We don't know. There's so many variables that we cannot account for, that we have no way of ascertaining the reality of, right? So why jump to conclusions? Why say holographic? I don't like the whole holographic argument.
Yeah, but I don't care.
The way
I
I
like
look
the word
at it,
Trying to
gravity.
make sure that you understand that everybody understands that Arwen doesn't speak for everyone who's thinking about this, and he's in a minority of one, really, in terms of his opinion as a flat earther. Because people, the problem is people take ideas like what you're saying and they paint the entire flat earth with the brush of what one person who doesn't respect the evidence says.
Excuse me, doesn't respect the evidence.
Yeah, or the lack thereof, right? Like you're jumping to conclusions and you're getting ahead of yourself when really these things are just intangibles.
It's not really jumping to conclusions. He's theorizing, just the
No, that's
same way
speculating.
all these other guys
I can
do,
definitely
like Neil
prove that
deGrasse Tyson, all these. That's all they do is theorize.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they get
I'm
famous
saying
for it.
let's not be like Neil deGrasse Tyson. Let's not, and it's not theorizing; it's speculating, which is different, right?
You don't
filling
need.
in enormous gaps of knowledge that we just simply don't have.
Yeah, you
Rather-
don't need
But
another.
with the knowledge that we do have, you can draw certain
Theorizing,
conclusions.
no, theorizing is connecting the dots that you have.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
inventing dots that you don't
Exactly
have.
what I'm doing.
No, you're
You're
not.
Yes,
speculating.
that is what I'm doing.
No, you're not.
No,
Yes,
but
I am.
Arwen, I do see
Sun is
his
holographic.
point.
No, the globe of the heavens is light-based. There's a lot of light. There's no tangibility. There's no
There's
physicality to it.
evidence that the sun is holographic. There's zero evidence that it's a solid object. You have there's no need for you to say it's a holographic sun or not. It could be, but there's no evidence that it is.
In other words, you don't need a just so fairy tale to pummel someone else's just so fairy tale, Arwen. You can just smash the living daylights out of their assumptions in regards to the heavens without coming up with a just so story of your own.
Yeah, and let's teach them how to do science properly, which is not to come up with just so stories. Which the problem where science has gone wrong is that they think it's better to make up they actually have people honestly believing it's better to make up a just so story than to say nothing. When really saying I don't know, saying it's intangible, saying it's out of the purview of scientific study is a completely valid scientific.
But I have data. I still take into account the angular relations. The only thing that's lacking from my theory is a causality.
You have no evidence that the sun is holographic. I'm sorry. You have
Yes,
zero
I do. It's light. You can see it. It is light. It gives off light. It is visibly light. Everything about it is light.
Yeah, everything that gives off light is a hologram.
No.
Can I just argue?
No, but everything that is exclusively light.
No,
is
you're just
holographic.
You're just making flat earthers look stupid.
No, come on,
you're
Nami, that's
just
unfair.
being
Everyone's
intimidated
entitled to our
because I
opinion, and
draw
I think we all
conclusions.
accept that Arwen doesn't speak for everyone, and neither does anybody. You know, we're all individuals here, and he's entitled to express his opinion.
Yeah, I'm just saying, my opinion is that he's making flat earthers look stupid because you see like these newspaper articles like where they're talking about the Pac-Man model, which is basically Arwen's idea, right?
No.
Or rectangular
not at all.
looping. Oh, whatever. It's very similar to what you're saying, and
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying
the sinusoidal projection.
Yeah, now you're generalizing my concept. You're very good at generalizing, aren't you?
No,
Well,
I mean, this
generalizing
Pac-Man's
was-
been around forever. I mean, I interviewed Lawrence Wright about the sinusoidal model over 2 years ago, probably 2.5 years ago now. It's been around forever. The way Arwen details it, his description of rectangular looping, it may be similar, it may be the same, but it's certainly not, you know, he's not one of one in that regard.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just saying.
Model still proposes barriers.
How I would rather flat earthers had a more mature conversation about
Well,
science.
start with yourself then. In that
Oh, come on.
That's what
Let's
I'm
not
doing.
descend it. Arwen, he's entitled to his opinion also, and his opinion is that if you come up with conjecture without any evidence, then it's going to be looked upon badly by people who potentially might take on board what you say and think it's just acceptable to come up with a just so fairy tale. Now, that's not to be insulting to your
But
just
I
so
don't have
fairy
a causal,
tale.
I don't have a causal relation. I don't have a fairy tale. A fairy tale is basically an origin story. It is what is supposed to cause it. I don't know that. I just know what its nature seems to be.
No, that's
its
the
behavior
inverse of
and
you-
what
that-
is
no, no, I
measured
can't
of
have
it.
that. That's the
angular
inverse of
relations.
what's
I'm being
reality.
very
That's the
straightforward and honest.
No way, I'm not having that. That's
I'm
the
not
inverse.
making up fairy
A
tales at
causal
all.
relationship is what you establish in science, Arwen. That is nature, the absolute inverse of what you've just said. So no, if you can establish causal relationships in things, then you are doing science. And you're saying, no, well, I'm just going to establish what nature is by observation. And it's the complete converse of that. So yes, if you can establish causal relationships, then you are doing science. And that is studying the natural world.
Effects.
Effects, yeah. Causes
Yeah.
and effects. Causal relationships.
No, but I don't have the cause. I just have the effect. I just have a
Well, that's
see
useless.
nature. See,
But that's the
I
trap
make
the
a
globers have
derivative.
fallen into. They do it with the hypothesis. They say, well, I've got a hypothesis, therefore, and you can't get away with it.
Yeah, but
That's
I
not-
don't care about that.
Fair
I'm not here
enough.
for the scientific
You don't
method.
care.
I'm here
you know.
to make a concept, a model. What
Okay,
it could
well,
be, and
we're-
there's many tests that could be done to further that knowledge and
It's
to
not knowledge.
maybe find a
It's
causal
not. It's
relationship
not knowledge.
eventually.
Models are used when you have a limitation
Nathan,
on
are you
your
there?
hypothesis. So if you have a limitation when you're trying to establish this causal relationship, then you introduce a model. Now this is pseudoscience, Arwen.
Yeah, it is. I don't care.
Arwen, what I think Nomi's problem is that sometimes your speculation, you you present it as fact. And I think that's what his problem is. We know it's speculation coming from you, but it's sometimes you kind of argue with the ballers and present it as a fact.
Observed things. There's the observed phenomena that cannot be declared in other ways. There's gaps in other theoretical approaches.
You sound like Nick.
And that's what I point out.
You know, you sound like Nick from the chat, you know, saying that you don't need to isolate variables, you know, you can have them vary themselves naturally and that's sufficient. And it's like, no, these things, if you have a limitation, and the scientific method does have its limitations, they're there for good reason. But saying, well, that's too limited, I don't have control of all the variables, or I only have an observation, so what? It just makes it not science anymore.
I'm not claiming scientific proof.
And you're misunderstanding the word theory and theorizing too. Theory means connecting the dots, not inventing dots.
But not inventing dots. I am connecting.
But you are. No, you're not connecting dots. You're
yes, I am.
It's holographic. There's no evidence, so you're inventing.
Yes, there is. It's light in nature. That is the one thing that we.
That's not evidence of a holographic sun. Sorry.
Yeah, but you misunderstand in that sense what I mean even by holographic. Doesn't mean that it is a technological hologram projection.
Okay, so when you say holographic,
literally, literal, the nature of the word.
Well, then you're
holographic,
loosely. Then
light-based.
Now you're saying if just because I say it's a hologram doesn't mean it's holographic. Like,
no, but that is the way you seem to be interpreting it, and that's not what I mean.
Sorry, I'm just interpreting the words you say the way you said it. What do you want?
But there's different ways to approach that word.
So yeah, so that I invent
some in a technical way, in a technological fashion, or you can.
I make up some meaning of the word so that it seems like it fits based on what I feel in my heart or something like that, right? Like, come on, this is a serious conversation.
Yeah, I know. You don't have to patronize me. You do that a lot lately. It's very annoying.
I'm not patronizing you. I'm just.
You are constantly. You are doing that in chat. Every time I declare something, you have to oppose it constantly.
No, not every time. I oppose.
Oh no, really? So when's the last time?
Can I give my 2 cents on this one? I've called
before
Darren
you do,
Nesbitt
big
out
shout
on
out
this
for the
exact
super chat.
point.
Thank you.
What? I've called Darren Nesbitt out on this exact point. When he went on Good Morning with Phil Schofield and Holly Willoughby, he said about this looping sun rectangular model thing. And even if you believe it to be true with innocence, like with integrity, there isn't the evidence to support it. And at this point, conjecture about what it might be damages us. We are far better off concentrating on what it's not than conjecturing on what it might be. That's my 2 pence worth.
Well, good luck with your scientific mission to disprove everything. I'd like to get on and actually figure out what it is. That's what I like to do.
Yeah, well, you're not in a position
in dispelling the ballers' assumptions and their false proofs and their constant.
Erwin, you're not in a position to prove what it is. So
yeah, I know that. It doesn't mean that I can't speculate about it. That I can't figure out how it could possibly work.
Point out that your speculations are baseless. Sorry,
no, but they're not baseless.
I have to say it. If you're going to come on here and say that, I'm sorry. I have to.
But they're not baseless. They're not conclusive yet.
Kind of inviting this sort of ridicule when you make baseless assertions.
No, that's bullshit, dude. That's bullshit. Just keep it to yourself.
No.
If you guys don't want me here anymore, that's fine. Then I'll stop coming here.
That's not the case, Aaron. Don't take it so personally.
And declare everything to be nonsense and there is no proof of anything.
Arwin, there's no need to take it so personally. You know, his opinion
I
is
am
valid.
taking it personally.
You've got to
because
take
he's
this stuff
always
on the
doing
chin.
this shit. He's doing this everywhere.
Just take it on the chin. You don't have to respect his opinion.
I'm not going to take it on the chin. I'm not taking it from anyone.
Okay. But he's correct. Sorry.
No, he's not correct.
It is baseless to
I
make
have
these
no
assertions.
scientific proof. I have concepts. I have theories.
You only have observations.
I make statements that are based on real things.
Right, but I wouldn't be doing a fair job if I was to let you get away with making baseless assertions and saying, well, I've got observations to back them up, when we're literally chopping the heads off globers with exactly that, when they do the same thing.
No, but they beg the question because their observations are then tied to assumptions. I don't do that.
Yes,
I leave
you
the
do.
assumptions out of it. I
No, you
leave the
don't.
causality out of it.
No, you don't. You're just
What can be measured and then model with what there is, and then draw conclusions from that and
but that's
leave
just
the rest open.
mathematics.
That is what I do. That is how my theories work.
You're talking about angular relations. That's just mathematics. That's not cause. That's just maths.
No, but those are established, measured things.
Measured,
Things
right?
always
Mathematics, right? So this isn't based in reality, Arwen. You know it.
No,
That's
it
why
is.
you're getting angry.
No, it is based in reality.
It's not. These are
The
just
angular relations are
relationships.
solid. It's
No,
a model.
that's just maths.
Whether
That's
you
just-
like that word or
You
not,
don't
it's
like
a
it.
model
You don't
that's
have to like it.
ancient.
You're just
Everybody
talking
has
about.
been using it. The
You
entire
are simply
exploration
describing
has been
angular
based
relations.
upon the
That's
model
not
of the
proof
globe of the
anything.
heavens, and how the angular relationships of the heavens to the earth work, and that's an established fact.
You're doing
And
the
just because you
rumpus.
don't know what causes it or how it works doesn't mean that is not an established fact.
Right. Causation. That's what you need to
Not
establish.
the rumpus.
You know you are. You're doing a rumpus, and I'm telling you that you don't
I'm
have
not doing a
causes. You have
rumpus.
angular relations. Sorry.
Oh, you're going to deny that now?
No, I'm
we
not
actually
denying
used
that you
that
can...
as an argument earlier on to dispel.
I could just.
to dispel
Well,
the
I should
ballers.
concede
And now you're
to
going to
rumpus
do that
then,
to
shouldn't
me?
I, Arwen? Shouldn't I concede to rumpus and just say, well, if you can calculate out how much refraction there is, then obviously it makes the refraction real. I'd just be doing the same thing to him if I didn't stop
but
you
you can
here and
falsify
say that
that
your
because
angular
optics
relations.
can only
You're
work
doing
in
a
one
rumpus.
way.
You're talking over me, Arwen. You know, you don't have to like
over you.
this, but you know, like it or lump it, mate. Nummy's right. Tough luck.
No,
Sorry.
he's not.
He is.
No, he's not.
You said it yourself. You're not establishing the cause of these things.
Yeah, I know, and I stated that.
Right. So you know it's a fairy tale fantasy to begin with.
No, it's not. It's just
Okay.
not. The cause is just not known yet. Doesn't mean that these measured things
get
are
it,
not
Arwen.
solid, are not repeatable.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make that clear, mostly for the audience.
Yeah,
sake.
it's just like gravity. We don't know what causes gravity.
There's no such
It's
thing
an
as
established system. It works. It works out every single time.
No, it doesn't. It does
Yes,
not
it-
follow
yes,
the
it does.
square
Yes,
principle,
it
and there's
does,
no
you
proof
idiot.
that
No,
attraction-
you're
It
using
does.
the mathematics,
No, it
Arwen. You're back
But
end.
there's-
You don't
You're
know what
using their
causes
back
it.
engineering.
It works. It
of an
works
effect.
every single time.
No, it
You
doesn't.
can't help it that you're allergic to the word, okay? You can call it downward force, whatever you like. But if you apply another type of force, then buoyancy and density will apply to those forces because there is a
Hang on.
force required for it to work. And in the
Hang
normal
on.
stationary
Who's
situation,
saying
that is
buoyancy
gravity
and
or
density?
downward force.
Big shout out to Earth is Seriously Fat. Thanks for the super chat.
But there's no phenomena that fits the description of what is called gravity, a generalized attraction between masses that follows
Yeah,
the.
that's, but not, you know that's not what I'm talking about, dickhead. You know that. I've told you like a fucking thousand
No
times.
swearing.
What,
Come
I
on,
have to share
Arwen.
your definition
No
of this-
swearing.
Your definition is silly, so why should I share it?
I just gave a synonym of downward force, okay? I said it like 3 times. And still in your neurotic mind, you have to go back, oh, but you mean the attraction between masses. No, you know that's not what I mean.
Who's neurotic? Come on.
You're neurotic.
I'm
Come on,
neurotic.
no,
Yeah,
no
you're
ad
neurotic
homs.
because
Come on.
you knowingly assume something about what I mean, which you know is not true.
Well, I don't
have to do
like
it.
that you use.
You have to do it because
Sorry.
you're a neurotic.
You know what? I'm entitled to my opinion too, Arwen.
Yeah, but it's not your opinion. You can't opinionize what I mean. You know what I mean. Don't
can't
put words in my mouth. Don't tell me what I mean with gravity. You know what I
You're
mean.
using that word, Arwen. You're using the word gravity. You know it's contentious.
And I synonymize it with
Can I
downward
speak
force every
about
time. I
gravity?
did it every time.
I think your attachment to the word gravity is
Yeah,
neurotic.
it's my own business what my attachment
you're
to
right.
words is.
No,
That's
and what
why
I
I
say-
used the synonym for it.
What I say is my own business, and I can say what I want. So,
Shout out to Manic Obsessive. Thanks for the super chat.
product of
Purposely
neurosis.
misinterpreting what I say.
No, I'm not.
You know what I'm
But I
talking
think it's a
about,
poor
and
choice
you're
of-
on purpose misinterpreting what I'm saying. Very
Arwen.
freaking annoying.
I have no purpose other than to try to clarify
Yeah,
the truth.
then to annoy me.
No,
Then to
you're
try
using
to
the
make
word
me
gravity,
by putting words
Arwen.
in my mouth. You
You're
know
using
that I'm
no,
not
he's not.
saying.
You're
I never
using
put
a
words in your mouth.
specific word, Arwen. You're using the word gravity. It has a meaning.
Yeah, heaviness means
No,
heaviness.
that's your
No, it
meaning.
doesn't mean that.
Yeah, it does.
No,
meant-
that's
Look at
your
the roots of
meaning.
it. That's what
No, it comes from Newton.
No,
comes from
Newton just
always meant
used it to make a scientific definition, so-called scientific definition, attaching the gravitational pull system to that to give a false causal explanation.
No, it
Doesn't
doesn't
mean that there is no force that is down
generalized
there.
attraction between masses. That's what it refers to. That
Oh,
follows-
you're gonna tell me again? You're gonna tell me again?
Yeah, you haven't. It's not.
You're an idiot. You're a deaf idiot.
Come on,
neurotic,
Arwen.
and
No,
I'm
no
sick of
need
you.
for the
I'm
ad
sick of
homs.
you. Screw you.
Come on, no need, no need.
You can
Right,
be.
Arwen is correct. Gravity is just a definition. It was never an explanation. So for you to call it an explanation is misleading.
I didn't say it was an explanation. I said it has a definition. That's exactly what I said. And what the definition is a generalized attraction between masses that follows the inverse square law. That's the definition, not the downward acceleration. Okay?
That's not the definition that he was using, though.
Yeah, it was.
No, it's not.
No, he's got a different definition. That's what I'm saying. He's saying that
gravity.
just the downward acceleration is called
Saying
gravity.
a
And I'm
word,
saying
gravity.
Gravity has
Word
all this other
has
baggage.
meaning.
And that, all that
His
baggage
definition
that
is buoyancy and density.
No. That's the gravity. With the word gravity was brought up in the context of physics to describe more than just the downward acceleration. It was brought up to relate the downward acceleration to the motion of the
No. They don't even. That's not even how they think of it.
It is.
It's not even close.
Yes,
it's
it is.
how much.
Yeah, it absolutely
it's how heavy
is.
the,
Brought up
it's
in
how
Newton's
heavy the
principle.
air is above
No. It was used
bearing down on them. That's what gives them
1600.
their weight, which is completely false.
No, you have no idea what you're talking about. You're a drunk. Seriously.
No, you're a fucking idiot. If that's what you're
Come on, no swearing. Come on, let's cut the ad homs. We've done really well. We've only got about 10 minutes left.
Not an ad hom. The guy is a drunk.
He might not
You're
be
a
drunk
fucking
now,
drunk. Carry on.
Anyways, forget it. I'm just saying that I have my reasons for not liking I think that we need the word gravity refers to a theory that doesn't pertain to anything that actually exists.
Precisely.
Right? There's no evidence that the downward acceleration follows the inverse square law. There's no evidence that the downward acceleration is caused by a generalized attraction between masses. That's the gravity.
Right, gravity's
Because
bunk, and
the
he's using the word
problem
gravity
is
because
that-
he's got a different explanation for that word. And while he's entitled to use whatever he likes as his explanation, it doesn't change the definition of these words that he's using.
No, it doesn't at all. But hang on. What was your name? Sorry, buddy, that was just talking.
Nummy.
Yeah. What point are you coming from? Because you were sort of talking about in between reality and the realm of.
I'm not even. What am I supposed to say to you?
Yeah, what? That's not even a formulated question. Come on, Jazz.
You're like, it's like the verbal equivalent of a burp. Seriously.
No, well, I'm in touch with reality.
No,
are
you're
you sort of half by in between, or?
Did you find a curve yet?
Isn't there a pub you can go to or something? Or do you live way
No,
back?
thought about going there tonight, didn't go. Thought I'd get in touch with you guys and rocked up into a world of bad shit as it so happens. But an amazing world of bad shit and great channel there, Nathan.
Thank you.
Amazing as always, and I am fucking sober for once.
Try not to swear.
It's just because it's just such an amazing world of batshit, and not got anything to do with that dude's channel. But seriously,
Curvature?
Oh man, this guy.
Curvature is batshit.
Yeah,
curvature's batshit.
Yeah, doesn't exist.
Yeah, have you found any?
I can see it all the time. You see that photo that's on the screen right now.
Really?
Yeah, the straight line up against it earlier.
On
That's
your video
curvature?
screen.
That
thanks for the
straight,
super
that
chat.
straight line is curvature.
Massive shout out to
You
Earth is
see that
seriously
video
flat.
screen? Did you watch what that fucked up sun did?
Try not to swear. Come on.
Sorry, Nathan. Did you see what that sun did? It sort of went down to the horizon, then it went away to the left of the screen.
This
Do
is
Why
the
the
you see?
hell
Do
would
you
it do
see what
that?
that? Do you see what that reflection's doing? It's coming right
Yeah, I
to my
do.
feet. Oh
I
wow!
know.
How does that
it
happen
must
on a
be
curve?
like 2 miles away.
Oh wow! How does
Oh,
that happen on a curve?
More like 10
How does
feet.
that happen on a sphere?
How does that happen on a curve?
It
Can
doesn't.
you go into a swimming pool at night if you're a parent and you're on the parent committee and you can take your kids to the swimming lessons and you can turn the lights off, get everyone out of the building, and then
What?
turn the lights off and go over onto the other side of the pool and have a look. Shit, that light's 25 meters above the water. What?
Swimming pools are flat, right?
Swimming pools are, well, not, they are technically.
Huh.
This is a great example. I'm so glad to have you on, Jazz. Thanks for being
Oh,
here.
absolutely, Nathan.
It's a real pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank
Yeah,
you very
I like
much.
talking to Jazz. It's funny.
Yeah,
No,
I
I'm
don't
glad,
can't say I feel the same way.
I'm glad to
Seems like a
drag them
total
in.
complete waste of time talking to a drunken buffoon.
Well, it might be an opportunity. Anthony, are you still around? If you are, it might be a good
Yeah,
opportunity.
Anthony, let's go.
Yeah, explain to, because we've got about 10 minutes left, so enough time to do this. Just tell him what you did
Yeah,
at the
let's do it.
beach and what you saw and why it's a very good piece of flat earth evidence, as opposed to trying to work your way around what Sly or Rumpus has got to say about it. Just tell him what it is and why it's good.
Would you like me to present it again?
Yes, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Is this just for the benefit of Jazz, or is it for in general?
Just for Jazz.
Yeah,
the
it's
audience
just-
will pick up on
just
it,
for the
but
benefit
just
of
for
me.
Jazz.
Okay, so just for Jazz. Let me
I've got a lot of stuff to give to you guys, but I won't be sharing it online. You'll be able to observe it for yourselves, and you're part of the nation.
Okay. You see my screen, Jazz? You might need to click
Not
the
as
thumbnail.
present.
You are presenting. Big shout out to Earth is Seriously Flat and Dank for the super chats. Much obliged. Let me know when you're ready, Anthony.
I'm ready.
Do I need to click on something, or?
You need to click on the thumbnail that's in the Hangout.
So yeah, just click
Oh,
on.
yeah, roger copy. Got you there.
Hey Beeloo, is that really you, Beeloo?
Probably going to snipe me now.
Get rid of Beeloo just in case he's here to disrupt.
Don't be doing any sniping.
Okay, right. Let me know when you're ready, Anthony.
I'm good.
Go ahead.
So,
Yeah, I'm
on my
pretty
channel,
sure.
Jazz, on my channel, if you change my videos to the most popular videos got 129,000 views at this point.
Oh,
And in
yeah,
this
no,
vi-
I've seen this.
Yeah. And in this video, I showed what was captured at the time. And I'll play it quickly now. I showed that we had the land that we called the Isle of Man, and you see that it stops at this point, and then there's a gap,
Yeah.
and then there appears more land. And the whole point of the video was, what is the land? Because if it's the Isle of Man, then it should be behind the curve, and that is still my position. And the ball has only brought back the tippy tops of it, but claimed they brought back all of it. Now, this land did turn out to be the Isle of Man. However, it shouldn't be there on a ball, but they argued it was refraction. So, Sly Sparkane, Mark Taylor, and a couple of others said, why don't you go back and see if you can do it again, but from the beach? So I said it was winter. I'm not going to be able to do that at this point, but as the weather improves, I'll go back and do that, which is what I did. So when I went back to do that, this is what I got. This is the same land that you've just been looking at. And then we're going to look for a gap. But I look at this and I didn't quite recognize it immediately. So I went back to the left And I picked out North Barul, then I went back down again, and I'm waiting for it to drop off, and then there'll be a gap, and then if there's land there, it will appear magically out of the background. So we're looking for a bit of land that
Sorry,
appears.
so
Hang on.
what country are you looking at from there?
So there's the land that I'm looking for, and I see it on the horizon. So I pan across to see how far it goes for, and I realise that I'm seeing a lot of land because it wasn't just the tippy tops of it. We're looking at significant land, and all that land is around about 200 to 300 feet. So then I realise that we run out of the land, so then I run back to the left so that I can do it again. So I'm still going to the right. Now I realise it stops. So now I roll backwards, and I get to the gap. I'll go across the gap, and then I'm expecting the land to appear on the north side. There we go. There's the land. So then I'll just go back across the gap again, just to make sure that I am seeing something that's significant, and it wasn't an anomaly, and it wasn't anything bizarre. It is something real.
And
so when I get across,
how high are those mountains?
Well, the tippy tops of them are 315 feet, but they generally they're somewhere between 250 to 300 feet.
Hello, hello.
Hello, good to have you.
Hey.
So then I realized that it's not a camera anomaly. The dog walks in front of the lens, so then basically scuppers my attempt. Now I'm lay on my belly, and you'll see that now as I zoom out. Now I've got filters on the camera at this point, Jazz, and I turn them off at this point, and I remove the contrast enhancement, and I neutralize or put back the brightness, and you can see numerous horizons there, right, which goes against Rumpus's claim. Anyway, so at this point, I'm now going to zoom back, and you can see that I'm pretty close to the ground. But just to document how close I am, you can see that the camera is on this little mound here. There's no tripod in the picture, and I'm as close to the water as I'm prepared to get, because as you can see, it gets really wet at that point, and it's not particularly nice. So I'm prepared. This is as close as I'm prepared to get at this time with the camera. I don't really feel the need to go any closer, but I am prepared to do it if needs be, but I don't think I need to. Now, look at the weather. The weather's rolling in from the south, and it's misty as hell.
Just before we do, sorry, Anthony, can you just explain why is this good without sounding like I'm asking you to state the obvious? Why is this good flat Earth evidence?
It's 34 miles away, and I am a foot off the water's surface. When you put it into the Metabunk nonsense curve calculator, that land that you've just witnessed is 700 feet behind the curvature of the Earth. It should not be seen. It's only 200 to 300 feet tall. We should not see it. Now, there's supposed to be a bulge between us and it, and the bulge itself would mean that you can't see it. That's not even accounting for the curve, but the bulge knocks it out as well. But there is no bulge. There is no drop. There is no curvature in the evidence. And the problem is, you literally have to dismiss. You have to dismiss this. You have to say, well, that's land there, which is what Slice Barkane did. But then he has to literally ignore this land, which is exactly what he did, and he has to find some other reason to attack me personally or basically denounce the evidence. But that is land. It's exactly where we expect it to be, and it shouldn't be there if we live on a ball. 700 feet behind the curve it should be, with a bulge in front of it blocking the view. We shouldn't see that.
Who's messing around with their mic, but in any event, yes. So you're about 6 inches to a foot off the beach, and essentially you can see everything that you can see in that picture that's up on screen, or was a moment ago, from the beach. So essentially it demonstrates the Earth to be flat. There's nothing else you can really say about it. So thank you very much for that. And also I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to the live audience for tuning in and sharing this debate. Also a massive thank you to all who hit the super chat. And of course a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you've not done so already, be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!